Queridos amigos, muy buenos días. Gracias por estar con nosotros en su programa Café con Leche, la voz de los latinos en América. Estamos transmitiendo desde Hermosa 1470 AM, 96.9 FM. Les habla Lilia Galindo, me acompaña Yasmín en los controles y tenemos el Distrito Escolar de Lancaster con el doctor Jordan Goines. Él es el director de proyectos especiales y esta mañana nos va a dar información muy importante. Good morning, Dr. Goines. Buenos días. ¿Cómo le va? How are you?
I'm doing well. How's everybody here doing?
Well, we are very happy to have you here and hear the good news for people in the Lancaster area. Okay, tell us a little bit about what do you have for today.
So we've got some good stuff that I wanted to bring to the community's attention starting moving forward. Like we're talking about enrollment right now. We're getting ready to start enroll. We have been enrolling students. We sent out our Smart Start documentation and all of our flyers out. I think you got a copy of them on your desk over there, Lily.
How do you know?
To do with registration and starting to get people, getting the kids enrolled in our schools.
Are you talking about it, Dr. Goines? Yeah. Are you talking about this?
No lo puede.
No lo puede.
Yep, that's it. Smart Start.
Yay!
On our website.
And
it's ahead of the game.
And it's bilingual. It's bilingual. In one side has este flyer acaba de llegar hace una semana. Es bilingüe y tiene toda la información. Nos está hablando del proceso de inscripciones que ya están inscribiendo. Así es que vamos a continuar. Okay, now you can continue, please.
So wanted to make sure everybody, all the families were aware of that, because that's what we're kind of focusing on right now, is trying to get the kids back to school, make sure that they all realize that we're really focusing on trying to get in-person instruction for all of our students. We want in-person instruction for all our students. We're trying to bring the kids back from independent study, although we know that we have a lot of our EL families who need that or want that, but realizing that in Lancaster School District, especially for our EL families, extremely important that their students are actually in the classroom so that they can pick up that active language, the passive language that they would get when they're learning the English language when they're learning the English language.
Dr. Goines, let's make a pause, then I can translate.
Okay.
Bueno, ya se está enviando, perdón, este flyer a todos, ha llegado por correo. Y este flyer habla del proceso de inscripciones y se llama comienzo inteligente. Perdón. Let me try a little bit water.
Okay.
Something happened to me. Well, entonces esto se trata de regresar a la escuela, a los niños, en persona, porque dice que aunque hay padres que prefieren el estudio independiente, que es muy importante que sobre todo los niños que están aprendiendo inglés regresen a la escuela en persona, porque eso es lo que les va a hacer aprender mucho más rápido. I think that when you go to school in person and you are learning English, not only you learn from your teachers, but you learn from your classmates. Is not true?
Oh, absolutely. I think that actually we noticed that our students, because right now we've got a lot of students who are coming in from Afghanistan, and from the recent conflicts that we had. We've got about 100 kids that we're bringing that are coming up to the Antelope Valley that are going to be residing here for a while, who were part of that whole leaving Afghanistan piece. So these are some of the kids that were responsible for helping us.
Are we talking about Ukraine or Afghanistan? Ukraine.
No, I'm talking about Afghanistan. Remember when we left Afghanistan?
Oh my God, this is so interesting.
Yeah, no, geopolitics is crazy, Lilia. Let me tell you, it all finds its way right back to the Antelope Valley in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, we're bringing in. So like because those students are coming in, one of the things that we really focus on is the fact that if we can get those kids in front of the classroom teacher and working with the classroom teacher and working with their peers and learning the different language, the language of education, not just the language of survival, but the language of education, then that's how kids acclimate so quick. And in fact, the little ones acclimate the fastest because they don't know a whole lot of language in the first place. So it's easy for them to be able to pick up 2 languages at one time. In fact, they say that by age 5, you've got your language kind of solidified. So we're trying to get our kids taken care of pretty, quickly, as quickly as possible.
Nos está hablando de que, estábamos hablando que cuando vas a la escuela en persona y si vas de muy pequeñito, es excelente porque vas a tener la habilidad de aprender mucho más fácil. Aprendes no solamente de tus maestros, pero aprendes de tus compañeros porque ahí se inicia la conversación. Dice, sí, definitivamente hemos descubierto que es una manera muy propia de aprender inglés. Dice, recibimos ahora aproximadamente a 100 estudiantes de Afganistán y dice, bueno, pues entonces son niños que no hablan absolutamente el idioma, pero estando ahí con sus compañeros y con los maestros y con todo el apoyo que le damos, a los 5 años ya tienen solidificado sus 2 lenguajes. Entonces por eso es tan importante que los niños que son de familias latinas vayan a la escuela lo más temprano posible para que puedan a los 5 años ya rápidamente tener las bases de los 2 idiomas y pasar la reclasificación muy pronto. Imagínense qué oportunidad. Okay, doctor, you can continue now, please.
So that's a big deal for us. So that's a huge thing in terms of registration. So in terms of our kids who are already in the Lancaster system, who are on independent study, we really want to get them back into the classroom. And we know that there's fears about being sick and things like that. And I'm going to get into some of the things that we're moving forward with or there's fears of having to wear a mask inside of the classroom and all those pieces. And I'm going to get to that in just a second. But we also have registration for our early childhood classrooms as well. So our early childhood team is getting ready, I think you had almost Dr. Fountain, Miss Fountain over our director of early childhood education, who was with you last time we were on the radio. And she was, that's one of the things that we're focusing on, is trying to get our kids in school as early as possible. So that's something that's getting ready to change in Lancaster.
Well, okay, give me a pause to translate. Estamos hablando, dice, los niños que ya están inscritos en el sistema de Lancaster, bueno, pues bienvenidos, ya no tienen que hacer nada, pero dice, los niños que están en estudio independiente, o sea, que están estudiando en la casa, los invitamos a que regresen ya en persona porque va a ser muchísimo más efectiva la manera de que aprenden y además de lo de que tienes que tener socialización con todos tus compañeros. Y dice, bueno, la vez pasada tuvimos aquí a la doctora Fountain, que es la directora de educación preescolar, y dice, y ella, bueno, pues también nos dijo de la oportunidad de inscribir a los niños a este programa de aprender desde temprana edad. Okay, you can continue now, please.
So on top of that, we also have our school, our dual language academy, who's been accepting applications since February 22nd. So we're bringing kids into that particular program as well. So we want to make sure that families are aware, know that they have an opportunity to be able to get their students into dual language opportunities. The dual languages are Spanish and English. So that at the younger levels, at the younger grade levels, they're learning Spanish. They're learning they're learning in Spanish. So it's one of those programs that allows for that bilingual education really to take off and really do well.
Okay, estamos hablando, dice también que las inscripciones para las escuelas de de inmersión bilingüe ya empezó desde el 22 de febrero. En este tipo de escuelas se les enseña, aprenden en español primero y también están aprendiendo en inglés. Dice lo que forma las bases más sólidas para la para ser bilingüe cuando creces. Okay, now.
So the other piece that I wanted to make sure that we went over was opportunities for or some of the changes that are getting ready to take place.
Oh, Doctor, wait, I'm sorry the interruption, but it is my understanding for the dual language school, there are very few places, very few slots.
That we do need to get people in as soon as possible, but we'll fill the teachers if the kids come. We'll find a way to get kids people involved.
Okay, it doesn't matter how many they showed, you will enroll everybody?
The quicker we get them in, the better that we're going to. We at some point we are going to have to cut off the ability to enroll just because it would get too exacerbating and get too big. So we do have to, at some point we have to get to that point, but right now we're not there.
Bueno,
but we still have space available.
Esto, amigos, les recuerdo, es como un sorteo en la lotería, así es que yo les invito a que de inmediato vayan a inscribir a sus hijos, sobre todo los más pequeños, para que puedan ser bilingües de inmediato y puedan tener muchísimas oportunidades. Can you imagine living in this area in which there are so many aerospace companies? If you start early and you have clear that you are going to go to college and work for one of those companies, you are going to change your life forever. And this is people who came from generations that many generations, they have been so poor and they believe that there is nothing else. And this is the way to change your life, no?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's one of the things that we have also going on in terms of enrollment. We also have Fulton Albury Academy, which is actually, pretty much California Distinguished School, one of the best schools in the state of California, a school to watch from a national perspective. That academy is got a hugely awesome a PLTW program, Project Lead the Way. It's a engineering program that is absolutely amazing.
Bueno, estamos hablando, amigos, de que viviendo en esta área del Valle del Antílope, las personas que han sido pobres, las familias que han sido pobres por muchas generaciones, tienen la oportunidad ahora que sus hijos, si van desde temprana edad a la escuela, se preparan bilingües y se preparan para trabajar en una de estas compañías, puede cambiar su vida para siempre, y no solo su vida, sino la de las siguientes generaciones, porque ya no habrá más pobreza. Nos está hablando de una de las escuelas que dice que tiene reconocimiento a nivel internacional y es para preparar en ingeniería y en estas áreas que se requiere tanto. Así es que vayan a inscribirse de inmediato, no hay que posponerlo ya. We're going to take a break and we will be back.
Okay.
El abogado Ángelo Campano ya ha sido elegido 3 veces como el mejor abogado del Valle del Antílope. Así que si sales lastimado en cualquier tipo de accidente, solo llámale al 661-945-5300
si
y
no me
quedo
todo
caso.
en
y
silencio.
Si no gana, no le debes nada. No esperes más, 661-945-5300, 661-945-5300, Ángelo Campano, el abogado en quien la comunidad confía.
Las vemos todos los días, pero la mayoría solo caminamos al lado de ellas, tiradas como basura, mereciendo ser guardadas, pues todas valen algo.
Sí, como 5 a 10 centavos por envase de bebidas CRB.
Al recogernos, las calles estarán más limpias e incluso seremos dinero para ti. Pero necesitamos tu ayuda. Mira adentro de tu corazón.
Oye, no se trata de corazón, sino de razón.
Llama al 1-800-Recycle o visita la página web para obtener información sobre cómo, al reciclar botellas y latas, las cosas mejoran para ti, para nosotros y para Tom Bear.
Hola, buenos días, queridos amigos, gracias por estar con nosotros en su programa Café con Leche. Estamos transmitiendo desde 1470 AM, 96.9 FM y tenemos aquí al doctor Jordan Goines. También estamos en Facebook Live por si nos quiere ver. Y el doctor Jordan Goines es el director de programas especiales del Distrito Escolar de Lancaster y estamos hablando de las oportunidades que existen para que sus hijos puedan tener una vida totalmente diferente. Doctor, here in the flyer, we talk about STEAM and STEM, artes visual.
Yep.
Well, but do you know in what level do you start with these possibilities to enroll? For example, I would like to be in the STEAM program. What do I do?
So there's a couple things I want to go with that, and the fact that we do start working with STEM, like literally in kindergarten.
Oh.
So our kids are getting access to methodologies and scientific thinking as early as kindergarten in our district, and I think that's pretty common. But we're really we focus on that because we're Aerospace Valley, right? Antelope Valley is the Aerospace Valley. That's what we do. So we know that with our community that we need to do a really good job of making sure that we're creating the next workforce that's going to be working with Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, all these different companies that we have, or the Air Force. NASA. We want to we're creating the next scientists of the next generation. I'm going to let you translate that, then I got something to lead into that. So I want to back into
dice que le estaba preguntando, bueno, veo aquí en el flyer que tienen programas de STEAM, que quiere decir ciencia, tecnología, ingeniería, arte y matemáticas. ¿Desde cuándo empiezan a educar a los niños? Dice, de alguna manera empezamos desde que están en kindergarten a involucrarles en esos sentidos, en esos en esas áreas para que ellos puedan avanzar. Dice, no podemos olvidar que vivimos en el área donde hay tantísimas compañías aeroespaciales, nos mencionó NASA, Northrop y otras muchas, y esta es la oportunidad, dice, nosotros tenemos que preparar en nuestros estudiantes la fuerza de trabajo que va a estar allá para el futuro. They used to bring people from other countries to work here, no, and from other states, and now we have the opportunity to get all those jobs.
Yeah, no, we have the opportunity to make our kids available for that work, moving right out of college. Like, we get them to go to colleges and come right back to us so that we can start getting them to do that. So I want to make a point of something, is that the reason that we have programs like that is because the community has said that they want programs like that. We've done it. At all points in everything that we've done in Lancaster School District, we listen to the community to see what the community is looking for. The community said they wanted a dual language program. We're giving them dual language. The community said that they wanted STEAM and STEM programs. We're giving them STEAM and STEM. Right now, there's a huge push in the community that I'm hearing right now coming into arts and looking into the arts economies and focusing on those areas, and that makes sense considering we're an hour outside of Los Angeles County or an hour out of LA, which one of the biggest economies in the city of Los Angeles is the arts, and that's another area of work that we can start providing for our students. But all of this comes about because the parents talk to us, and I want to give some opportunities for some parents to talk to us and give us their input, because I'm going to be very, very honest. If you're not speaking up, then you're not getting heard, and if you're not getting heard, your needs aren't going to get met. So we really want to make sure that parents have the opportunity to be able to do that. So we have a couple of opportunities coming up on March 17th, so next Thursday, and then later on in May, for parents to give their input into the district so that we can continue to listen to them, because we've already started. So we can continue to listen to families and getting them what they want and getting the community what the community wants.
Very good. Dice, nosotros tenemos este tipo de programas como el de ingeniería, también el de artes. Por ejemplo, el de artes, dice, vivimos muy cerca del área de Los Ángeles, cuya principal o una de las industrias más importantes de esa área es las artes, ¿no? La cinematografía, las artes. Dice, y también por eso estamos ofreciendo los programas aquí de ingeniería para que trabajen en aeroespacial. Pero dice, esto lo hacemos gracias a que los padres participan y nos dicen qué es lo que quieren. Por eso hemos establecido este tipo de programas, el de programa de lenguaje, de doble lenguaje, el del STEAM, el de artes. Por eso es tan importante que los padres hablen de las necesidades, de qué es lo que quieren para sus hijos. Y vamos a tener la oportunidad de que nos vengan a decir qué es lo que necesitan para que sus necesidades sean cubiertas, porque si no sabemos cuáles son sus necesidades, cómo podemos ayudarles a resolverlas. Entonces, en marzo 17 va a haber una reunión en donde usted les va a pedir que participen y que si quieren decir algo, lo digan, y si no, solamente van a escuchar. Sometimes parents, they feel so overwhelmed when they think that, they expect that I say something important, but not really. You go to the meeting and then you listen, and if you feel that there is something an idea that came to you, or at least to get informed of what's going on and what are the opportunities, no?
So the way that I run, because I run these meetings, I'm the one who primarily runs these meetings. We call them the Lcap input meetings, so our planning input meetings. When we run these meetings, I don't talk, I listen. So my goal is to hear what the parents have to say, and I ask some very targeted questions, such as, what are your hopes and dreams for your kid? Where do you want to see your kid go? What do you consider success for your child? What barriers are currently in place that we can work with? Or what's keeping your child from success? What's helping your child be successful? I ask questions like that allow them to be able to provide some input at their level, at the way they want to. I'm not looking for education needs. I can make that happen. All I need to know is what we need to do is so that I can suggest it to people who are much more powerful than me, is I can bring that to them to be able to start the process of building those programs to make those happen. That's how we built the dual language program. That's how we built our STEAM and STEM programs. That's where Fulton and Alsbury came from, because the parents wanted that. We do the same thing in terms of listening to our staff, ensuring that they have the time, the space, the place to be able to build in time for their planning so that they can create better or more active learning environments for the kids. So that's what we're looking for right now.
Le platicaba yo, le comentaba yo que algunos padres a veces no quieren ir a las juntas porque sienten la presión de, oh, que tengo que decir algo, y no necesariamente. Primero va uno a participar, a escuchar, porque muchas otras personas van a decir algo que sea importante y que le dé ideas a ustedes. Dice, yo soy el conductor de estas juntas, se llaman Lcap. Dice, y en estas juntas yo no les pido, dice, yo dejo que todo el mundo hable. Lo único que les pregunto es cuáles son sus esperanzas y sus sueños acerca de su hijo. ¿Qué le gustaría que fuera cuando fuera exitoso? ¿Cómo lo ve si tuviera éxito? ¿Qué sería? ¿Y cuáles son ahorita las barreras que ustedes confrontan? Entonces hace mucho más dinámica la comunicación para que los padres tengan confianza e inspiración, y usted puede oír de los demás y aprender un poco de los demás. Si nosotros nos aseguramos que también el personal tenga el espacio, tenga los elementos, todos los instrumentos y el lugar para hacer que los estudiantes aprendan activamente cuando están con ellos, ¿no? Les creamos todo el ambiente que ellos necesitan para ser estudiantes exitosos. Okay.
So, Lily, I want to make sure that people know when the opportunities are for them to be able to link in. We're looking at building in our next Lcap meeting, or Lcap input meeting, which we literally try to get done in less than an hour so that we can ensure that the parents aren't overwhelmed with the amount of time being put in to having to do that work. So what we do is we do an hour between 4:30 and 5:30. The next meeting is on March 17th, so that's next Thursday. And parents should be on the lookout for a flyer coming from Lancaster School District, as well as text, as well as phone calls that will be coming out in the next couple of days.
It's going to be in the school, eh? Or where is going to be?
It's virtual. It's virtual.
It's
so
still
it gives
virtual.
parents the opportunity to be able to log on from home.
Excelente. Bueno, la próxima junta de Lcap se va a llevar a cabo el jueves 17 de marzo, de las 4:30 a las 5:30. Van a recibir flyers, llamadas telefónicas y todo lo demás para que se recuerden de asistir. Les recomiendo que lo pongan en un calendario o en su alarma para que les recuerde. Es a través del internet, lo que facilita muchísimo porque no se tiene que perder tiempo en transporte ni en nada más. Ojalá que tengan de verdad ¿qué les diré? La iniciativa de asistir. Estas juntas son muy importantes. Okay.
So one of the gosh, there's so much more to talk about. I'm going to get in. I actually wanted to discuss a little bit about what's getting ready to happen over the next week and a half coming from Lancaster in terms of our masking and all those kinds of pieces having to do with COVID. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Okay. So wanted to make sure that people were aware. Tonight at, I believe we're looking at around 6 o'clock. We're looking at between 6 and 7:30 tonight, and there's a flyer that went out to families. There's actually a flyer on our webpage called. It's going to be there's going to be a roundtable forum put on by the California Association of African American School Leaders or School Superintendents, or school administrators, so CASA. They're putting on a meeting, a roundtable discussion to be able to discuss the vaccine benefits. The vaccine, pieces like that. So it's personal, the truth about the COVID-19 vaccine. It's a town hall event featuring descendants of the U.S. Public Health Service and people who have been involved descendants of people who have been involved back in the day with different situations having to do with vaccines to show that it's safe. So that's something that's available to them, and that's on our website. Just if you just scroll down a little bit. So I'll let you translate that, and then I've got some other stuff.
Okay. Esta noche, a las de 6 a 7:30 de la noche, la organización CASA, que es una asociación de California de superintendentes y administrativos afroamericanos, están organizando una mesa redonda para discutir las cuestiones de las vacunas y los beneficios. Como ustedes saben, ha habido gente que se ha opuesto a las vacunas, a las máscaras y todo eso. Y en esta noche van a poder participar todos y escuchar cuáles son los beneficios, qué es lo que nos dice CASA, que es las siglas de la organización, acerca de esto. So, it's going to be bilingual, or it's going to be our opportunity to learn English?
It's an opportunity to learn English, but it is definitely an opportunity to learn English. I don't know if there's going to be translation there. I'm not totally sure about that particular piece because it's being put on by another organization that we're close with, and I wanted to make sure that there was availability. You have to register for the event at www.casa.org. I'm sure that there will be translation, to be honest with you, knowing what I know of the organization. I'm a part of it, so they do some really good work with the communities.
Very good.
So that's one. There's also a couple of other things I wanted to make sure families were going to be aware of. There should be communication coming out in the next couple of days that's going to tell parents that coming back beginning next week, masking inside of the classroom is going to be optional. It's going to be fully up to the family as to whether the child is going to be wants to be masked in the classroom, and that starts on Monday, March 14th.
El regreso a clases, amigos, se les recomienda, ya es la semana siguiente, el lunes 14 de marzo, y con lo que respecta al uso de las máscaras dentro del salón de clase, va a ser una decisión de los padres. Si los padres quieren proteger a sus hijos, creen que todavía es necesario proteger a los niños a través del uso de la máscara, lo pueden hacer, si no, no. Do you know what percentage of children have been vaccinated? Do you have an idea? Or
So we are not actually at liberty to be able to ask. So we don't.
Okay.
So we don't know. We don't have the exact population as to how many, but we can say that the surges have been mitigated quite a bit over the last couple of months. And there's another situation that I'm gonna provide for that our district is going to be providing for moving into the next week, because we start spring break week after next. What's going to happen is that we're going to be sending home antigen tests, so that the APR tests to be able to. We're going to be sending them home the end of next week, so that the Friday before kids come back to school, we want to make sure that families have the opportunity to provide that antigen test to their student or their child, so that they can make sure and ensure that their family and that their child doesn't have COVID or doesn't have COVID symptoms and isn't sick coming back to school the next Monday.
But then you are going to send the test to home, or how are you going to
We're sending the tests home
Okay.
to families.
Bueno, como se inician la semana próxima las clases y ya es discrecional a los padres el usar máscara o no, entonces dice que lo que van a hacer es, no saben quiénes se han vacunado o quiénes no, lo que van a hacer es enviarles un kit, un equipo para que se realicen el test de si el niño está contagiado o no, y así toda la familia puede estar segura y ir ya seguros de que no están infectados, para que no van a infectar a todos los demás. Dice, aunque se ha reducido mucho el número de infecciones, todavía podemos reducirlo. Dr. Goines, look, listen, wait a little bit for me. I have a few more minutes for you today because it's so important, but I will be back right now, okay?
Okay.
Vamos a un corte.